situation to find out game 3 in a series. Oh, we didn't have to ban Lucian all those times, but they do take that Gwen, and instantly XiaoXiang answers with the Fiora, and that was banned against him consistently. So the fact that both are now open and available is that XiaoXiang clearly trying to lean into the scaling out of this matchup. We also have the TF from Ucal, so looking to redeem himself for game 1 and play around those side lanes, get that Fiora ahead.
Yeah, and I think Fiora, again, something that he's been pretty comfortable on in the previous patches, of course, was last time we kind of really saw him, it was in the 2020 spring, or sorry, 2022. Actually, he's played at this split, I'm pretty sure already, but, or this year, I should say, but we will see what LNG want to respond with. They are going to go for the Ezreal, and it does kind of pop up as that third AD carry when you're looking at the likes of Kalista and Lucian being banned away. And again, Light feeling a little bit better in terms of going into something that isn't the Kalista this time around on the bot side.
Yeah, it does make me wonder what TT will end up picking up, because we've seen Kai'Sa as like a pretty decent answer, and we get Tarzan's Lee Sin. Clearly the Viego just not cutting it at the moment, wants to go for something which is an honest specialty for him. Beichuan's like, yeah, sure, I'll take the Viego, no problem. This should be a treat to watch. Now, go to the second rotation. TT haven't picked up the AD carry yet, so it does mean LNG in a position where they can target it quite heavily. I could see TT looking to ban away mid laners in this situation. The Corki going to be the first one, something that obviously we've seen Doinb have some really big success on.
Absolutely, and I think the Corki being a good ban, maybe even they look towards the Kale, perhaps, or no, actually, excuse me, not the Kale, the Gwen's already been picked up. The Galio, they want to try and maybe mitigate that global pressure, or maybe even the Sylas as well, something that Doinb has picked into the Twisted Fate in past seasons. So LNG now, you would imagine they'll start to pinch that AD carry pool, start to get away some of those picks that can deal well into the Ezreal, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're actually going to ban away the Aphelios. The Aphelios will still have 100% presence in this series, and it will have 100% presence on the side of LNG. Yeah,
maybe Aphelios makes sense. Maybe Kai'Sa as well, if you're concerned about that. Particularly if, like, you're playing through side lanes with the TF and the Fiora. It can be really annoying because what Kai'Sa can do is she can just come into a side lane, kill the target quite easily, and then regroup after finding that pick. TT, you're going to go for the Lissandra, so a bit of an interesting one. We've obviously seen Ahri be a high prior pick and Lissandra the answer. TT banning that one, though, wants to remove that CC potential. It makes sense because you can easily just claw onto TF, lock him in place. Lee Sin lands a Q. That's a dead Ucal.
Yeah, very, very dead Ucal. I will say, I'm a little bit tentative about talking about Ucal's Twisted Fate given game 1. I am optimistic and open to having my mind changed, but as long as he doesn't teleport himself behind 5 members all by himself, I think he should just be fine. Well, we'll see what TT want to go for here. They're going to go look. I was going to say that if they want to get the Xayah in here, they could lock in their support first. The Xayah Rakan, very, very powerful, but it doesn't quite link up with what they're trying to work with this composition.
Yeah, it's clear they want some engage, but the problem is now you pick this Rakan, and LNG can pick whatever support they want into it, basically. Rakan, not the highest lane pressure champion. He's quite a safe pickup, but you could pick the Karma here if you want to go that Karma Ezreal and really just hammer away at them in the 2v2 laning phase. See what they opt for. I mean, this is one of the things to talk about is we see the enchanters come back into the meta, but not every LPL support is going to bring them out. Bringing out the Leona for Lumao here. I'm not a huge fan. Clearly, that Nautilus ban that his own team did hurting him a bit. And it looks like we might end up getting the Swain come out for Doinb. I felt like this could have been a ban for TT instead of Lissandra. But it looks like they might just lock this in now.
Well, they're going to go try and maybe get the Swain in here for Doinb. So good survivability in that mid lane, as we've already talked about. And a little bit more maneuverability here for TT. They're going to be able to kind of get that Twisted Fate out onto the map, try and just influence those lanes, maybe even combo up with the Viego, either bot or top. And with TT, the Xayah seems like it would make a lot of sense here, just to give yourself that very safe bot lane. The Leona, though, like you mentioned earlier, it is a Lumao special, but it is definitely something that has fallen down in the L priority, has been hit pretty hard in terms of the changes to her, and just hasn't really seen the same priority as we saw in spring.
One of the concerns I did have is because LNG had Ezreal, if they ended up going something like Karma Azir for their last 2 picks, you could just get so outranged as Xayah, like so easily. None of the composition for TT is that long range, so that was potentially a concern I had. Maybe the reason they didn't go for that Xayah initially, but then LNG go for Leona, Swain, and Xayah's fantastic into them, right? Especially you have CC from both those champions. You have an AP top as well, so Cleanse is going to have quite a bit of value. I mean, obviously Cleanse doesn't do anything against Gwen, but Cleanse is going to have a lot of value for Prof. Merc Treads is going to have a lot of value for the whole of TT, and Xayah is very good at dealing with close range threats. Like, sure, she probably won't be on the Ezreal too much, but but everyone else diving into her, she can just place those feathers down and do a ton of damage.
Yeah, again, I think if TT can survive or even get through to like level 6 and beyond, if they, with the way they've been playing this series so far, they should have themselves a better opportunity. I feel like LNG have been resting on the laurels just a little bit, and it just really hasn't come to, you know, kind of full whack for them, I suppose. And for TT, they've honestly, as even despite the first game, they've looked like the better team on the day. So this is a great opportunity here for TT to kind of cement themselves, get that first win nice and early, and honestly give a lot of questions to LNG going into the split.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be a really big factor in sort of maintaining your distance, playing TT playing smart around the side laners, right? The Fiora, the TF, using those tools effectively. But if we see, you know, similar performance that we've seen in the series, minus the Ucal Destiny in to die, this should be a good game for TT.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. A lot of different if, buts, and maybes to be answered now as we go into our final game of the day to round out week 2 of the LPL regular season. We are 2 weeks out of 10 done already. I will say the first week is only a half week, but it is flying through already, Aux.
It's been so fast.
And it's just never going to stop until we hit playoffs, and then we're like, oh, this is it. We're in playoffs.
Which I
now.
love. I love the fact that like every day of the week I can just wake up, LPL. Wake up, LPL.
So for that random Thursday, I think in like week 5 or 6 or something, where it's just like dark day, and then we go back to LPL.
Sadness.
Yeah, literally I think it's the Narcos meme, just like, what do I do now?
Yeah, I mean, but we get some constant games, and there is obviously some games that are absolute bangers. Game 1 in this series was not a banger. I was very frustrated, but game 2 was pretty good. And I think what I love so far this season is we've seen so many teams that were low in the standings, weren't able to make playoffs, step up. Ultra Prime is a great example. AL, we saw earlier today, a great example. And TT, as much as it was like game 1, which kind of drove us both mad, the general level of play has been pretty solid for this team. They look like they are improving.
Absolutely, and again, this is what we kind of expected, or what we want to see from this team. You think of TT and how they've kind of gone about it. They were last place in the spring season, and even as an organization, they're not that old, but from the tournament results they've had, they've been like, you know, set last basically in Demacia Cup of 2021, 5th to 15th, so not exactly doing much better in the Nest composition. And then in summer, of course, in spring of 2021, they were 16th and 15th respectfully. So the only way is up for these guys. They are so used to being at the bottom of the barrel that they can only get better. They have to try and get better.
Up didn't play today.
The only way is towards up. How about that? You gotta get closer to up. I don't know. Sometimes, you know what? It's charming. You have a charm about yourself, you know? You also keep me from saying really stupid things about the game. And you know what? I appreciate that.
That's my job. We do see Beichuan looking for potential gank here. And early ganks on Swain have been quite effective overall. He is immobile.
Yeah, oh, flash for flash, but the gold card lands already. The never move is there, but they do get the flash out of both mid laners, and they back themselves away. They're not 100% of where that Lee Sin was, and they didn't want to spend too much time kind of kill off this Doinb.
Yeah, I love the respect. I love the fact they don't chase. They don't give any risk, any opportunity. They just back away, take it safe. Something to note, by the way, it is no TP on the Fiora. Going for the flash and the ignite. This is going to give you the most power in team fights relative to summoner spells. And also a lot of power in the lane, but vulnerable. If you do get ganked, no TP means you won't be able to get back. And in the side lane, less of a threat when you don't have that TP available.
Well, with the priority you now have with the Doinb in this mid lane, he is pushing himself over and helping out Tarzan alongside this red buff steal. So they might even look to try and maybe take away this top lane Krugs, but it takes a little while for them to secure the red buff, so not going to go for it yet. But pushing lanes there for top and mid, it makes it very hard for Beichuan to get a foothold, really.
Yeah, a bit of a rough spot to be in for the Viego, losing out the red buff. And both scuttles, by the way. Prio lanes for LNG. Uh-oh.
No flash for Ucal. He is dead. First blood going over to Tarzan on this Lee Sin. And yeah, when you invest so much in that early game and it goes that badly, that's rough for TT.
Sometimes when you try and make a play mid, you have to burn the flash first and then return gank to get the second flash. Thankfully, for Tarzan, job was already done, right? Ucal burned his own flash to set up that earlier play, and as a result, able to easily pull off that gank. Now, Oleg could be in trouble here if he gets a stun out of the fog of war. It is quite long range.
Oh, they got him, and they're going to be able to proc him down. Remember, he has no ghost, he has no flash. One more auto attack, one more proc. They try to flash in with the safeguard, but they're not able to do it. Now Tarzan has to back himself away, even though XiaoXiang is so low. And TT, they find a response.
Yeah, have to respect XiaoXiang having the riposte available. You can't chase down in that scenario. A nice play from TT, but if you look at the wave state, Ole's not really going to suffer too much on this one.
Not going to suffer too much. We will get a free reset, though, for XiaoXiang, who has got the Ignite and no TP, so is a little bit better for him in terms of that reset. But TT, again, not to be outdone despite the early game flub and trying to keep that pressure onto LNG.
As they shouldn't. Level 6 going to be coming in for Ucal soon. That's a big spike for him. Able to really start to apply pressure on the map. See who opts to, if they opt to go for this early dragon. We've seen early dragons quite a bit so far today. Teams trying to secure that initial one, but hold on. They're looking for Doinb. No flash, remember.
No flash, and they're going to get right on top of him, stun him down for an absolute eternity. It does not matter how much sustain you have, and that is going to be actually a never move landing up here onto Luomao. It's still pretty tanky, though, with the Aftershock. Going to take about half his HP down, but good reactions here from TT, and they're, again, just LNG not really respecting the lack of information they have. Yeah,
I mean, I feel like there's very little Doinb can do once you're in that scenario. The layering of CC was pretty good, but just an example of them returning. So they get that initial flash, didn't get the kill on the first play, but they do return and find it. And Tarzan won't dash over to try and steal this. Not going to risk it, and Beichuan doing a good job of blocking the Q. Now, oh my lord.
He's all-inning him. He's got the Ignite down. The Ignite gets traded back. Flash in. XiaoXiang will trade it back 1 for 1. But that is going to be the level 6 just hit on just after the death of Ala. And again, kills across the board coming out here for TT.
And you see how scary this Fiora is. The fact that you have that true damage on the vitals. The fact that you can just get up close and personal to Ale in within his shroud. And also, like, Fiora just eventually, like, it doesn't matter how tanky you are, the durability change doesn't matter, because eventually you get to the point where your vitals, your 4 vitals on your ult, do just under 100% true damage. If you proc all 4, everyone in the game dies unless they try and heal up in the meantime. But you see here, not able to get that last vital. Ole has it against the wall. And ultimately, XiaoXiang makes the call that he's just going to trade his life for it instead. Ooh. I think he was trying to Q out of the turret and actually messed it up and went, fine, I'll take the kill.
Yeah, he 100% committed. Honestly, that was the correct call. Once he messes up that dash, he's kind of like, well, I'm going to die anyway. I might as well flash in and get the trade back. So good awareness from XiaoXiang to be able to make sure that he's able to at least get something traded back. But TT only equaling out the gold. They do have, of course, got that dragon available in their back pocket. The next dragon will be up in 3 minutes 40. The Rift Herald will be available in just under 50 seconds. And this is where the game starts to get a little bit crazier as level 6s start getting hit. Big item spikes start to look around the horizon. And that's where we start to think about what's going to be happening, specifically in the bot side. You can see now Light level 6, Puff level 4. And he is going to be dead. Luomao just doing a nice little bit of an engage, and they are able to take down the Xayah.
And I love that play because Doinb was a contributing factor. And this is one of the big powers of Swain, the range on his W. Like, he doesn't have to go to bot lane, but just when the CC chain comes in, he puts the W down, the extra damage, the slow, enough to make a bit of a difference in the all-in. And although it was already going in favor of LNG, just guarantees they get the kill and get it and aren't able to be traded on.
Again, TT, they not respecting the fact that Puff was very much in danger, and they have to back themselves away from that in bot lane, not able to do it in time, and that's a good start here for Light. And it has been very much about this bot lane. Puff and Light have been having very kind of set, different styles of games. Obviously, the Aphelios twice for Light, but for Puff, it has been all about him in Game 1, and even in Game 2, it was all about that Kalista and really setting himself up as the main damage dealer. On the Xayah, he now has to try and be that same carry.
Yeah, we do see both teams set up for this Herald now. Puff has no summoners, but has the ult available. Remember, Ucal isn't here, and XiaoXiang's catching the wave, so you have to call it off, I feel like, in this situation. LNG should just be able to secure this, and it's a pretty strong early start so far in this one.
Yeah, good start here for LNG. They will secure themselves the first Rift Herald. Of course, you are getting a push down here by Ucal, so free farm and also free turret plate. If you can get 2 here, you'd be pretty happy here as TT, but with the rotations now coming in from LNG, you would imagine it'll just be the 1, and he'll back up.
Yeah, now looking to see where LNG can get value from this Herald. But Nana Ale would definitely go a long way getting that Gwen ahead. But ideally, you either want to put it down mid and chunk out the tower, or you want to put it in a side lane and hopefully get the full thing, right? The full 5 plates, get the first tower blood as well. So we'll see what LNG opt to do with that one for the time being. It is a minute 30 until Dragon. You could try and use it mid to create pressure in the lane. Definitely a solution. Oh, XiaoXiang looking though.
Oh, they're looking. There's the needlework coming in. Oh, they will not be able to get him caught out there as Ucal comes up with the Destiny Gate to try to get the knock back. But Doinb is already in position to try and answer back. That's going to be a 1-for-1, 2-for-1 in favor of LNG. And they are starting to get themselves into a rhythm, even though it took them 3 games.
Yeah, really nice roam timing from Doinb, able to match the ultimate from Ucal. And now Tarzan being there made all the difference. Beichuan wasn't there in the fight. And obviously, if they got that kill, the resets could have made such a big factor. Now, gonna actually try and put some pressure down onto Ucal here. The Herald comes, but they won't get a tower here. A lot of gold, sure. Not gonna be able to get that first tower blood.
Getting a lot of gold. Beichuan will push in that mid lane to try and mitigate some of those losses. As despite those kills going over, we're gonna replay. It is only still a very close gold lead. But again, this is a XiaoXiang thinking he has the support of Ucal, but doesn't suspect that the Lee Sin is coming.
It's kind of a weird flash from Ucal as well there. Like, he was in range to land the stun card without flashing. I guess maybe flashing so Tarzan's kick wouldn't knock him away from the Gwen. They knew they have to kill him. That might be the thought process. But either way, does end up going in favor of LNG. Dragon up in 10 seconds. And it really feels like TT are the ones who control the area. XiaoXiang's already roamed down. Beichuan is coming. This should be kind of a no contest, I would think. Being that light has to catch that bot wave. Maybe a steal from Tarzan.
Maybe a steal. They haven't really got vision on it, though, and without that W available for Doinb anymore, it's going to be very difficult for them to be able to go for it. There's the Ezreal ultimate!
No way,
and he
man. No
snipes
way.
it away.
No
Beichuan didn't
way.
have smite.
Oh, man. You know what this is as well? This is Puff playing 2 Kalista games and then thinking, yeah, we're fine. Cool, you got Rend. No, you don't have Rend.
Do not. And Ala taking a trade up in this top side. The needlework putting down some decent here onto XiaoXiang. The tower not going to be proccing onto anybody. And with the pressure you had on bot side and you lose the dragon from it, LNG are going to get the first turret and the dragon. They're kind of getting everything. And TT, oh, dearie me, my dudes. It looks like you could have maybe came out with a win on this series, but it's so hard now. It feels like it's running out of steam.
Yeah, I mean, getting that extra gold on the Gwen, pretty big. LNG doing a good job there. Just losing on that dragon could make so much difference in this game. I guess we're going to see whether it ends up coming into it, but ultimately just a fantastic steal. And oh, it was blind as well.
Yeah, this is, oh, again, no smite. Means that they try to burst it down, but oh, that's a big netty no-no. But we'll see Luma getting jumped on here. But again, it's a tanky Leona. He's not really in much danger and just walks away from that Destiny Gate proc.
Yeah, so Ucal throws on the ult, doesn't really find anything. Hasn't been the best game from him ultimately. Tarzan's been having a pretty good one on the Lee Sin so far. Still, though, I feel like both teams kind of hold up into the later stages. Should be fine. We'll get a replay of how it panned out. Yeah, stun card on the Ezreal doesn't really do too much there.
Ooh, this is a little bit of a rough early game now for TT, down about 1,500 gold. And for LNG, they're happy with the scaling. Again, like, you know, Tarzan on this Lee Sin, we've seen it 100 times at this point. He is so proficient and so good on this pick. And the way he's just moving around the map, it's going to make it so much harder for TT to really have an influence. And honestly, it's going to come down to how Ucal uses this Destiny Gate. And right now, you can see with the couple he's used, it hasn't been the most impactful.
Yeah, it hasn't been great. And ultimately, towers still standing quite healthily in favor of LNG. Got 3 towers, 5 plates, 4 plates, 4 plates. You can see that TT clearly wanted to try and apply some pressure to it, but Tarzan's just been reading the map so well. It feels like all these plays, he has been there, he has been present. And even now, Beichuan shows up the bot lane, wants to try and apply pressure, but Tarzan is waiting in the wings, ready and available.
Yeah, and again, this is kind of how LNG have been playing this particular game. So much smarter, so much more cleaner than the side of TT. But they're going to see the quickness coming in. He flashes in, does get a knock up here onto Leona. And that's the burst down that you can expect when you have a Viego and Xayah on your team.
Yeah, smart play. He uses the ult in the fog of war because there's that lockout, that 0.5-second lockout where you can't flash or W. So he pops it, waits for lockout, flash W, 0 counterplay for Lumao unless he has the mechanics of, you know, a robot just able to, as soon as he sees him flash. So he ends up getting taken down, doesn't even get a chance to flash.
TT, that's a good little move there to try and get themselves back into kind of control of this game. It was feeling like LNG were just dictating the pace of SouthWind. Gonna try and jump in onto Light, but Doinb is relatively close. Lumao gonna drop down the ultimate. They flash in onto SouthWind, who doesn't really have a place to go, and he will be traded back. So Lumao gives him a little bit of revenge for the play that he just had after using so much to kill off the Leona.
Yeah, and it's just a really bad window from SouthWind to W in. If he had his W to get away, probably would have made it out of that play. They obviously go for it, knowing that there's no ult on SouthWind to create space. But it's the perfect timing when SouthWind W's on the tower and has to use his E just to get away. Prime position for you to punish.
Kind of come back in. Minute till Dragon spawns. The Rift Herald is alive, and you can see Tarzan on your minimap moving towards the main screen right now, trying to steal away that objective as quick as he can. With the pressure they have in top lane as well, very hard for TT to really contest this one. They look like they're just going to try and utilize the pressure in bot side to maybe look for their second Dragon of the game. Hex Rift as well is a pretty big buff for both these sides. You get that extra ability haste. Of course, the slow if you can get the soul as well. This could be a moment here for TT to maybe try and gain some dominance over this side of the map. But Doinb is here.
It's just Raptors.
It's just Raptors, Beichuan. You don't need to be doing it that hard, but Doinb now with the Demonic Ascension does end up getting himself out, so they do not have that available for them, but they did lose the flash from Beichuan.
Yeah, I feel like LNG can't lose out on that one, because without the Demonic Ascension, it's so much power in your team fights. They're going to use the Herald, try and create pressure mid. But I feel like TT should be confident. This is probably your best case scenario to be taking a fight.
Oh, there is the Shoe Shot Barrage coming out. XiaoXiang is already here. TP available for Allah. As we can see, most summoners available apart from SouthWind without his flash and ignite. And of course, Beichuan just losing his. Now, how do you want to try and start this fight? TT, you're going to lose a lot of time. LNG are totally fine to take this fight as is, because look at the Gwen. He's going to be able to reset, come back out onto the map with an extra little bit of items in the back pocket. So, TT, the Dragon is live. Where do you want to try and take this one here? They're going to try and maybe catch out Tarzan, but they don't land the root. And now, the TP on the backside of this, they're going to look to try and fully engage on top of it. The quickness is good to disengage, but the Zhonya's is good to build some time. Lumao is dead, so it's a 4v5 in favor of TT. The Heartbreaker over the wall, as XiaoXiang needs to get himself out as well. They're going to flash away, so the Sonic Wave does not land. The Hex Gate's going to be used to reposition, and now they're going to try and re-engage in this fight. Look at Tarzan. He tries to get in the flash in, but he gets knocked up immediately. SouthWind with an absolutely beautiful disengage, and now they can jump down onto the Swain. He finally gets himself back out on top of this fight, as Beichuan is very, very low. But TT, they're dealing with LNG. LNG just couldn't get the damage down.
And honestly, just phenomenal play from Puff and SouthWind to bait Tarzan in. Okay, I was looking at the Ezreal ult timer. It was just not available. Light was actually hitting the minions, so might be able to come up sooner, but he won't be able to get another steal. And TT managed to find a good fight for themselves. That being said, think how much that Dragon steal... Oh, Ucal!
Ucal! Why?
Not again!
Oh my lord! I nearly was about to just throw my PC out the window, but thankfully he has a flash and he doesn't die.
Yeah. I'm going to try and forget about that. Let's focus on what happened on our screens. Some good CC catching out Beichuan a couple of times, but then it's this moment, right? So they get this kill on the Leona, they get the reset, they turn onto Ale, but they know this Gwen is scary. Let's create some distance. XiaoXiang ends up getting away, but it's this moment. Puff burns his ultimate to try and find a pick, and then Tarzan, Sonic Wave, they know he's going to go in. Gale Force backwards and flash. The knockup from SouthWind predicts the Lee Sin movement. They're able to kill him, and at that point, they can't do more. And then nothing happened afterwards. Ucal didn't TP in.
He didn't lose both summoners. Everything is all good. TT still have themselves a kill lead, a dragon lead as well. So you have to take any of the turrets, though, as they are relatively short range. But you actually have the Kraken Slayer now built onto Beichuan, so that carry-orientated build hasn't gone with the Gorge Rinker. We've seen this kind of creeping up into the meta of the Viego, as you tend to see this a little bit more often as you look to try and just be a bit more of a damage dealer against something like the Gwen.
Yeah, there's like kind of insane crit scalings in the kit of Viego, because Riot was trying to get everyone to build crit instead of building like the Bruiser. You're still going to go tanky items with this build. You're still going to be hard to take out, but the DPS from the Kraken Slayer really helps you kind of shred, burn through some tanky targets, of which LNG has quite a few. State of the game, gold's kind of even. I think both teams are strong scaling elements going in the later stages, so neither are worried. But the thing that is just stuck in my mind is the fact that TT could have had 3 dragons at this point.
Yeah.
They could have had 3 dragons if it wasn't for that steal, and that could be game deciding. We'll see if it is, whether it ends up coming into it. But yeah, the Hextech Soul is honestly pretty fantastic this game as well, because you have champions like the Swain who struggle with being kited. Gwen as well struggles with being kited. That extra slow just makes their job so much harder.
There's going to be a trade of turrets now as the final outer turret of TTs goes down. Doinb going to be the benefactor of that. Maybe not this particular wave. Actually, no, he should be fine. One more auto attack should do it, and then get himself reset. No dragon up for 2 minutes 20, I should say. 20 seconds till the Baron spawns, and the game can kind of calm down. The gold lead is basically negligible. It's not really relevant in any way, shape, or form, but you do have big key item spikes coming in. A whole breaker now for XiaoXiang alongside the Twisted Fate with that Everfrost and Rapid Fire Cannon. Those side waves, or side lanes, I should say, becoming very dangerous for the side of LNG.
I will say, though, Light and Doinb on some big spikes. Light should be close to just finishing off the mana. It is fully stacked the tier. And Doinb has the Rylai's Mandate combo, which essentially means you're permanently proccing the Mandate on target. You have the AoE slow, doing damage, getting those movement speed procs, and you actually have the stopwatch as well. You build Zhonya's third item, but realistically, when you have the stopwatch, you have like the important part of the Zhonya's, at least for one fight.
Get it for one, and then hopefully you finish it off and get it for another. We'll see now with a minute 30 until the dragon spawns. Both teams should have all summoners available, despite Ucal's best efforts. And I'm mad, man. That was almost a repeat. I was so ready to just throw it all away, just absolutely go ham and flame them. But the end of it all, TT still stabilized this game, and they have got 2 items now onto the Xayah as well. This big spikes, as you mentioned. This could be a very pivotal fight here for TT. If LNG can get on top of them, it could change, as you said, the entire dynamic of the entire game. But for TT, get yourself on the soul point, and this Fiora is getting to a point of unstoppable.
Yeah, I will also say that we've seen Merc Treads picked up for Beichuan and Ucal. Really high value here. CC from Leona.
They're looking for him. They're going to be able to find him, and there's nowhere for him to go. He's going to get caught up, CC down, and taken out. You can see there they're trying to maybe use the solar flare, but it was SouthWind tanking, and that is going to be a nice little pick off with 30 seconds till dragon spawns. Allah is going to need to try and maybe TP into this one. Puff wasn't really in a position to help out his team, but making sure he does not get caught out by Tarzan.
I am really actually not a fan of that play because you commit so much, and it's going to be so difficult to contest Dragon. You burn Flash and Ultimate Rakan, it's not going to be up. You burn Destiny and the Fiora Ultimate. Like, you're not going to be on that side of the map, but it looks like LNG feel like they need to defend this tower rather than trying to go for the Dragon. And XiaoXiang, you can just finish this thing.
Probably dead, yeah. He's going to be able to finish off the tower and then look for the fight afterwards. He flashes over, dashes away, and LNG, they don't know where he is. They're trying to find him right now. As Light just gets himself over. Oh my god! Oh my god! No! 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 Oh my lord! Oh, LNG!
Oh my god, you would be so mad. I mean, he gets the long flash over the wall, does that, and just finds that pocket of vision in the wolf camp and just walks out. The timing was so good as well. Like, if he tried to walk out sooner, would have been caught. Try to walk out later, would have been caught. And obviously, he had limited information in the area. XiaoXiang, that was like a Houdini magic trick. We just saw magic in front of our eyes.
But why does Luma follow Doinb? Why don't you just go one side each? I don't understand.
You know what?
Don't try and find logic in it, Sheen. Just enjoy the spectacle that we're experiencing.
I'm just glad that you're here with me to, like, validate that this is happening. You know, it's not. I'm not getting gaslit or, like, you know, trolled off the face of the earth. This is actually happening. But for LNG,
this is real.
This is real. This is peak LPL, whether you like it or not. But for TT now, they are 3,000 gold up, well, 2,000 gold up, I should say. The soul point on the Hex Rift as well. And they didn't have to burn that much either. It overforced in top side, and we're still able to come out on top with it. But Baron being started, immediately spotted out here by SouthWind.
They ain't doing this.
Yeah,
they'll back away, and I think they're trying to make a fight happen before the next dragon spawns, because, you know, when it's a Baron fight, things can go in a different direction. The Baron obviously has a big influence with the damage you can do. But also, like, the problem with Dragon is if you flip the Dragon... Oh,
Oh, they're going to look for a full engage here now. They land the gold card, the Everfrost. They bring down the Heartbreaker, and the Ezreal is dead. Now looking at the Gwen, and they can take her out too. Double kill for Beichuan. We talked about it right at the start of the day that they wanted this to be the carry jungler of this team, and he is doing just that.
You know what, Ucal, you redeemed yourself. That was a good play. Finds the stun card onto Light. Light with no cleanse, remember. Specifically went for the TP instead, which might end up causing concern at this point when you have all this lockdown. Oh, they're posturing.
They are posturing for this one here. Remember, there is no Ezreal, there is no Allah, so they may look to try and just dive this one as soon as the tower is dead, and that's exactly what they're going to try and do. XiaoXiang is fearless. Despite him going for the split push build, he is grouping with his team and saying, you cannot walk forward.
And Ale is having a rough game. 1-5 now on the Gwen. Really struggling to find headway in this one. And also, something to know as well, we have Ninja Tabby on 3 members off LNG. I mean, I feel like Ale does have that tenacity in his runes, but these stun cards are doing so much. And then you have the root follow-up from Puff, potential charms coming in. And we see how it pans out here. Destiny comes in, go for the Arcane Shift, flash as well, but the stun card connects, and SouthWind just saves so much time, waits until he needs to go for the charm. And as much as Ale tries to turn it around, isn't able to get the kill on Beichuan with that healing from the Fiora. Now, it's 2 minutes until Dragon. It probably should have already been sold for TT, let's be real. But that steal from Light has kept their hopes alive. But the 3,500 gold down. TT are looking really strong in these team fights. And that Hextech Soul will make things so much more difficult.
I mean, just as you said, they're kiting the chase down from this Hex Soul. But let's talk about it minute 30 until it happens. How do you want to approach this as both teams? Because for LNG, you can't let this one go. You have to fight.
Yeah, so I think for TT, what they can do really well is just single target damage, kill one target at a time. You have the stun card, you have great single target damage from your top and jungle, Puff as well, layer the feathers, and get those resets. You just want to keep your backline safe and move through the enemy team one by one. Getting on the objective first can be really helpful for that, so the enemy team has to move into you. On the opposite side for LNG, you kind of want Ale and Doinb to be in the mix. You want them to be on the backline and make it so Puff can't ult and point it one way. You want him to have like Ale on one direction, Doinb on the other, maybe Tarzan in the third direction, all in a big mix-up. So flanks for LNG really important, especially with this deficit.
All right, 3 Zhonya stasises available for LNG. They will have all flashes except for lights available for this fight as well, potentially. They will land the lever move, but SouthWind just dashes himself back with the battle dance. Now with Ucal looking for it, they will pop down a little bit of a true shot barrage. Nice pepper damage, but with some honey fruit available, the riches of the fruits of the forest being able to keep TT nice and set up. 30 seconds to this dragon spawns. LNG just going to try and put the wave in mid lane in their order. TT now looking to try and make something work. I will say, Ucal's got himself a ghost, so he should be able to break the distance even with the rapid fire cannon.
But he's got ult as well to reposition because he is clearing that mid wave out. LNG trying to get control when they know Ucal's not quite here this second. Dragon in 8. This could be game and series deciding on this one. Tarzan is hovering for that flank angle.
I mean, for LNG, they know exactly where they all are because there is the Destiny Gate. Tarzan does safeguard over the wall and keep himself safe, just as the ability foretold. But Beichuan backed away as both junglers getting pseudo caught out right now. Dragon has been started. It can't really be bursted by either side. You don't really have that single target, you know, percentage HP damage. Now both teams going to look for the Dragon. Will do significant work onto either side, whichever one it is focusing onto. You can see now with the auto attacks coming out, Light gets caught out and has to get jumped onto. He will disengage completely. Now Doinb trying to re-engage on top of this fight. The Dragon goes down. It's secured by LNG. They get themselves and they keep themselves fighting. Now we're going to see the quickness maybe coming in and trying to re-engage on top of this. XiaoXiang flashes away. A lot of posturing. Dragon goes to LNG. No one dies.
Such a scrappy fight. I feel like TT didn't really play it that well. Should be just trying to stun card a target and take them out. The fact that Beichuan is the one going in first, you're the one who's supposed to be getting the resets, right? You're the one who's supposed to be cleaning up fights, not starting them. And I felt very, very scattered. LNG able to get the smite secure from Tarzan, live to fight another day. And once more, that fierce dragon that LNG were able to steal kind of coming back to haunt TT.
Just a little bit. It's delaying it out by an extra 15 minutes. That's basically how long it's going to take them extra because you got to take those 2 dragons and the next one before they're able to kind of make it work for them. So this is It's a bit of an issue right now for TT. I will say they still have great side lane pressure. They still have great pick potential, but the Swain is getting very hard to kill. This Gwen is getting very big as well. And for TT, you only have so much damage with this Xayah. It's going to be, again, very short range because it is a Xayah.
Yeah, and there's limited AP damage on the side of TT. It's not really as much of an issue because you have the likes of the Lord Dominic's for Puff. XiaoXiang does true damage. He doesn't really care about resistances, but it's kind of the reason LNG have opted heavily into this armor because they are concerned about the ult.
They're going to look for it. There's a flash in. They will stop him out, but they will get to stun down and straight away afterwards. The stopwatch has been broken. Ucal, no TP, no flash, and no way of really saving himself should he get caught out just like that. And he is dead. The rest of his team say, I'm so sorry, Ucal. We have to back away. We cannot let you just throw away this game one more time. Now, does SouthWind want to go for Tarzan? He gets the quickness down. What is going on? Flash forward, never move into the Xayah ultimate. I'm very confused, Aux.
Yeah, really don't know what's going on there. GT trying to make something happen, and it didn't work, is all I'm going to say. And now they're going to start up the Baron. Bear in mind, they burned the ultimate from Puff and SouthWind, two great tools. So this is going to make this a lot more easy for LNG, and also with TT coming into them, gives them windows to get up close and personal.
Yep, you do still have the Demonic Ascension here as we go in. SouthWind trying to get the knock-up, only lands on the Doinb, who pops the ultimate. Ala now on the backside to try and stop Beichuan, who can still be kicked away. Tarzan jumps on top of him, forces the flash off of him, and that's Baron secured now for LNG. Do they try and get some fight after this? You can see them flash in, double knock-up. But no one can really follow up on this. TT, they look like they want to fight, but they can't really make it stick.
Yeah, and LNG just stick as a unit and walk out. Such a weird passage of play. Beichuan gets a stop. You're gonna die.
Ooh, my lord. The Sonic Wave has been tanked up there by SouthWind. But yeah, this was a weird passage of play from TT. You can see they're starting to feel themselves a little bit too much. But at the end of it all, the big purple worm goes over to LNG, and we're 2 minutes away from Baron.
Dude, it's a red buff. No way you die for a red buff.
Beichuan! Oh my god! Oh my god! I don't know, Aux. Get me out. I want out. I don't want to be here anymore.
Red buff at 31 minutes in the game. Who cares? It's not that big of a deal. Why are you dying for it? And I mean, LNG already have a control because of the Baron, but now they're going to be able to push in those Baron waves. TT cannot fight, cannot contest. And that's going to make it so hard for TT to get back in control of the Dragon area, to get onto that potential soul. LNG, things were looking rough for a time, but they're regaining control of this game.
LPL, best region in the world, right? What? Oh my god, it's just... I don't understand. I can't comprehend it. And the worst thing is as well is that you see XiaoXiang as well. He went for that hole breaker build. Yeah, he's literally been exclusively with his team since he built it. He hasn't been really split pushing. They have kind of completely forgotten that that's a way of working with that buff. And yeah. Aux, tell me happy things.
Well, Beichuan's back alive, and it looks like TT, off the reset timings, are going to get control of the area. So this should be a big old fight over that dragon for TT in... I'm not gonna say a better position, right? Baron buff still gives those stats, but maybe looking for something here.
They are trying to get themselves in a position to maybe get some vision down and put LNG in a bad spot. But 24 seconds till the dragon spawns, and TT trying to make something work. You do have double Zhonya's now available for Ala and Doinb. And 2 stopwatches here for Ucal and Puff. Still got a flash and a cleanse as well. We'll be watching how this fight really begins as all waves are pushing in favor of TT. The dragon will be spawning in 5 seconds, and Aux, this kind of feels like, yeah, TT need to get the soul now. Oh, Xenoblade lands. The dragon has been proc. Beichuan has to heartbreaker over the wall because he was left in no man's land. No flash available to him. Now he doesn't have that for any potential resets. We can see now XiaoXiang. He's going to get the parlay off and try and maybe make something worse. SouthWind trying to jump in on top of Doinb, who's going in straight away. Tarzan gets the kick, but is it too far? He has got the GA and keeps himself relevant in this fight, but the dragon has already gone down in favor of LNG. They take down the Lee Sin. They knock up Doinb, who has no more stasis, and they may look for the resets. TT, they might have done it. I think LNG overstayed.
Yeah, they went too far, and TT might try and end. They don't get the dragon. And I think Light and Ollie should be enough to defend such a small wave here. There is the True Shot Barrage, but they managed to get the fight win. They're going to do some damage. I don't think they can. Ollie still has everything. Light still has ult to clear some of the minions. I
Light's only
think
half
they
HP, though.
should be able to buy time.
They'll lose the inhibitor at minimum. TT, they don't gain themselves this Dragon Soul, but they will break open the base, and they're still pushing forward the flash into the instant cleanse. They're trying to look for it, but they've already lost SouthWind, and now Allah can actually start really putting in damage. TT, they're looking to maybe make this one work. They will trade back the Xayah for the Gwen, and this is going to be very staggered death timers. Beichuan should be able to skip and snip his way over. Beichuan! I can't believe it! I can't believe it! How? I don't know, man.
Hold me.
What's going on? Help me, man. I don't want to be here anymore.
Okay. Well, XiaoXiang should you be able to walk this one out. Aaron's in a minute 50, so everyone's going to be back up from TT. Ultimately, LNG, it's a mixed bag. One thing to note is they can't really punish that button here because they don't have TP on Fiora, and Baron is up soon. They also got the dragon, so they denied Soul. But essentially, like, TT are cautious about engaging into the Swain, but then LNG start diving into TT, and like Puff plays this really well to create distance, and suddenly LNG feel like, okay, we're out of damage. Stun card comes out on a Doinb with no stopwatch, so they're able to focus him down. Then you start getting the resets, and you also see Beichuan going up towards Lumao. Well, he gets the reset over there. The TT finally kind of understanding, you know, as soon as the target approaches, stun card them, burst them down, get the reset. That's how they want the fights to be played, but they didn't get the dragon is the pivotal thing. And once again, I'm bringing it back.
Yeah.
If
I mean,
Light hadn't stole that Infernal Dragon, they would have had Soul for the longest time now.
Yep, it is only 1,000 gold, which means absolutely nothing at this point in the game. You are starting to get full items. Demonic Embrace being picked up here by the side of Doinb, alongside that Rylet's Crystal Scepter, and that's going to get more shred onto these health bars, more percentage health. XiaoXiang does not realize he's sitting on top of awards, so TT need to not spend too long sitting on top of these red buffs or these camps as well. This Tarzan looks for something, gets the kick, but it gets parlayed, and they might try and look on top of him. XiaoXiang, though, has already been caught and taken out. That was a good information play from LNG. They knew that XiaoXiang was there, and they capitalized.
And now no TP. He's not up for a while. This is just Baron for LNG. Beichuan, don't get caught out again. Please.
I'm going insane, Aux. I'm going absolutely insane. But this is TT just, again, bring themselves in, throwing it away. There's so much good to talk about, but my lord, is there so much bad.
Yeah, and I think you just give this one up. It's just Baron. Not as important as the Soul, I feel.
Teleport.
Seems a bit unnecessary. I actually really don't like that teleport. It's so unnecessary. No. And on top of that, you know, you have an open inhibitor bot and there's an enemy Fiora with Hullbreaker. So, whatever. It's a weird teleport. All he gets is Rabadons, gets big hat.
A weird game.
Full build for Light. It's a weird series, let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Game 2 maybe think it was returning to normal, and then we get this, and it has been something. This has been a journey and adventure. Of anyone who's been with us watching the whole way through,
thank you.
I salute you. I salute you,
yeah,
because it has been a battle.
We are building bonds of friendship with the viewers right now, Aux. We are building an unbreakable, unspeakable bond. We will remember the TT LNG series, and we will never talk about it in public. Because this has been an absolutely crazy... And I've been molding. I'm going to straight up tell y'all, I've been molding with some of the plays right now, because it just feels like when something should go right, it just doesn't, especially for TT. And everything, again, I gotta bring this up, and it's a tennis term, which I absolutely love for League of Legends, is that unforced errors. You're not being forced to do anything wrong as XiaoXiang. These are wolves, buddy. These are not the game-winning objective right now, as we can see with Beichuan there. This is sole point. This is all LNG. TT can't really go on top of this. As we can get XiaoXiang trying to just back himself away. They get the Demonic Embrace coming out, or Demonic Ascension, I should say.
Oh.
From the side of LNG, and
this
they
is
do get
big,
the
but
cleanse.
Dragon's up and they're running straight towards it. Ucal doesn't have Smite from his spellbook, otherwise he could potentially steal this. This should just be Soul for LNG.
Yeah, oh, they try to put Beichuan in a position to be able to steal. The exhaust does come down, though, on top of the Gwen, who goes golden to try and buy some more time. There's Puff going up into the feathers. They try and bring it all back. That's going to be XiaoXiang falling down, and now LNG feel confident. Now they can chase it off with this Hex Soul, knowing they have the damage, they have the kiting. and they have everything they possibly could have. TT will fall to the wayside. Ucal trying his best to cut off the minion wave, but he will fall. And after everything, Aux, after all of this, we will potentially see a win for LNG.
SouthWind's trying to stop it, but there's still minions ahead.
Nice flash. That's about as much as I can say about that. That's honestly all I can say.
Beichuan, the solo defender, I just don't think he can do it right now. This might be it. This might be how it all ends.
This is how it ends. The Hexal, do you know what it was? It was that one Infernal Drake that was stolen that kept LNG in the game, kept LNG in the series, and the most unconvincing 3-0 start I think I've ever seen.
They're 3-0.
They're 3-0. They are atop of the LPL standings.
Just stop talking right now, honestly, man. Oh, that was a game. That was a series. That was something. That was a battle. That was a gauntlet. That was a ride. And ultimately, LNG come out on top. When things got serious, they decided to sort them out at the end. They managed to get the soul. They managed to turn around. And TT, unfortunately, devastated. They could have won that series. They could have, I mean, we always say that, but it came down to some couple of mistakes. Game 1, absolutely winnable without those unforced errors. Game 3 as well. The Dragon Steel will haunt them, I feel, in their nightmares.
I think quite a few things will haunt them. Quite a few things are going to haunt me in that game, that series, my dude. That was a journey. That was a spiritual setup, I suppose, for the two of us, my guy. But at the end of it all, despite how we got here, it is the result we expected. But my God, our LNG so... I'm going to say it. LNG are lucky in that series. My Lord, did they get lucky in that particular series.
I think both teams have a lot of lessons to learn from this series. I think that's what we can say. LNG... And this is the thing. Okay, I'm going to say with the LPL, just because a team has got like 3 or whatever doesn't necessarily mean that they're like, you know, top of the table or something in terms of like the real standings. There is definitely strength of schedule. If you compare like JDG, who are 3-0, they beat Top Esports, they beat EDG. You know, those are much harder opponents, I feel like, than LNGs have to face up against. But LNG have done it, right? They have managed to secure it, so credit to them. They come in at the end, but still seeing some of the issues we saw in spring. Still a lot to work on from there. And TT, I think TT is honestly the more frustrating one because TT could have won the series and we're seeing growth and then it's just like they throw it away. And I think that's kind of the mind-blowing thing is like that game one and 2, if you ignore those like really in plays in game 1, that should have been like a 2-0 in a good series.
Yeah, absolutely. Even in this game. Like, even in this one, they had so many opportunities to 2-1 this one. And again, I think that's the incredibly frustrating and probably why I was mauling throughout the whole thing is because, like, it's almost more disappointing when you see good plays, when you see good proactive movement and improvement from a team, and then they throw it away. They don't care. And you're like, it's like seeing, you know, a kid with so much potential and he just throws it away for something stupid. It's so frustrating because you know what could have been, you know, an opportunity for this team to get better. And again, TT are the last place team for the last like 2 years, basically. They're not... This was incredible to see from an organization that's never really tasted success, and I can't help but get frustrated because I want them to succeed, you know?
But, you know, we can look at it from a different lens in the sense that there was hope, right? You know, we can't expect TT to be a top team overnight, and I honestly feel like a lot of these issues are easily fixed. They're not, like, repeatable, right? I feel like sometimes there's like underlying issues with your roster and you're like, damn, this is going to take like a split or a year or maybe a roster swap to fix. But whereas with TT, these are just clumsy mistakes. You know, when the pressure was on, these are just questionable plays. I think they're easier to sort out. I think they're less likely to repeat and come back again. And TT showed some positive play. LNG, you know, definitely some question marks. I remember a lot of people were super hyped on this player previously, and he has got a reputation of having done fantastic things in the past. This spring, he looked so rough. This series, inconsistent, right? Really, really inconsistent. Tarzan had some good moments, but again, not quite in the form we expect. Doinb, I think, was solid. Light on this Ezreal pick was good, but the champion pool, I think that was the issue for the bot lane.
Yes.
Light leaning too heavily in the Felios. Lumao, in a game here where I thought maybe we could see something else than Leona, ends up bringing it out. It still worked, right? It still won them the game. but showing maybe a limit in the terms of flexibility. I think just a lot of things that each player can improve on. But ultimately, LNG are 3-0. And I think the bigger thing would be if they win 3-0. When you're facing teams who they should be beating in the standings. To be fair, they 2-0'd AL, and they are looking pretty good. I think this series is just messy, right?
Yeah.
I think this isn't either of these teams at their best. It was just messy. And I think that's why we've been going so hard on them, is because we expect more.
I mean, that's literally the crux of it right there, is that we look at LNG, again, 4th place team in the regular split in spring. This is a team that we would be looking at to try and say, okay, can you get any further? Can you look to try and, I know, of course, they were knocked out immediately 3-0 in the playoffs, but of course, that was just a catastrophic failure in terms of how the team presented itself. But
that was just top esports, right?
Again,